Hey, hey.
Sports. Von Allen Sports.
Enjoy the silence.
Von Allen Sports on Patreon. Fuck you. I'm joining.
Von Allen Sports.
If you're not watching Von Allen Sports, fuck you.
This is the man with the most badass name in sports. The Pharaoh, the Egyptian god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And on behalf of my man Von Allen, we want to thank you for your support. Let's fucking go.
Von Allen Sports.
All right, so how you guys doing? Here we go. I hope you guys had a good Christmas. I turned my mic up just a little bit, so let me know if you can hear it good, because I want to kind of move it away just out of my way just a sec. So I hope you guys had a good Christmas. We had fun. We had a cool party here and stuff like that. Not sure what we're going to do on New Year's yet, but I just want to make an announcement. I'll make the announcement again over the show, but right off the bat, I just want to let you guys know that for the rest of the year, the show will now be on Thursday nights instead of Saturday nights. That is to basically coordinate with, to get ahead of the weekend playoff games. I want to be able to fit another window if I have to. So I would like to do the show on Thursday, and then if there's something happening, because since we're going into the postseason, and honestly, we're now in the playoffs, kind of, as far as like my view, because week 16 is week 17 and week 18 are essentially playoff games because they have playoff implications, right? So it's kind of the same thing. If you don't win, your position changes, or you may not even get to be in the playoffs. So it's essentially the same thing. So I just want to have an opportunity and a chance to be able to go in on Friday or Saturday if I need to, and have an update or something like that, or whatever. So just let you guys know. I'll mention it again throughout the show, but. Okay, so who is here right now? Let's see. I know it's the holidays, so I'm not expecting everybody to be here tonight. I know a lot of you guys are probably going to watch this on replay. But anyway, so hopefully you're here at least tonight for your to make your pick, though, for your quarterback picks. Elva Courage is here. He says, well, C.J. Stroud and Brock Purdy threw one hell of a monkey wrench into the tournament. So many entries lost because of those two. Yeah, well... It's strange. So C.J. Stroud, just explain to you guys real quick how it works. C.J. Stroud did not play, but that was a game time decision, so it was no fault of anybody who picked Stroud. It's different if you picked him and you weren't paying attention to the reports and that he was out or something like that. So that's not the case here. What happens is that the next quarterback, the next one in the ranking, is your default quarterback. Originally, I thought, why not just have their quarterback be the backup? But I didn't like that because, the whole point of the tournament is to pick the best quarterbacks, and you get to pick generally I roll a 12-sided die, meaning the first 12, but you can pick anybody. But I think your backup should be a top 12 guy, and that I think that's really only fair. In this case, for those who picked C.J. Stroud, your backup was Brock Purdy. And while any other week, that would have been a great pick, and that would have been, a great default, right? Yeah, that didn't go well. So you got screwed anyway. I mean, actually, if you couldn't go with C.J. Stroud, but if you could have, you would have had at least a 0 in touchdown interception ratio instead of a -4 like Brock Purdy produced. So Elva Curry says, by the way, any Pats fans in the chat should check out Brandon Perna's new 19 worst games ever video about the Pats Broncos game. He was hilariously salty. Milena, let's go. Thank you. Ace says in 2020, he said Brady was senile and was unfit to lead a football team. Damn, that backfired badly. Would love to see Vaughn debate that guy. Brady haters are idiotic. All right, so that guy, I responded to him on Twitter. On X, a few weeks back. Actually, it was on the show. I was on the show when I did it, and he followed me, and so I followed him back. That's what I do when people follow. I think it's a courtesy, But I've not been a follower of his or a fan of his or anything like that, because I knew that he was a hater. I knew that Now, the thing about debating him is that he doesn't do stuff like that. The thing is that there's a lot of these guys, okay? And people could say whatever. I mean, yeah, good for him. He's got a big following and all that. That's great. And I sincerely mean that. That's awesome. I would love to have that big of a following there. But he's been doing it a long time. But that's not to the point here. The point is that he's doing it through a comedic filter, okay? And I've talked about this a little bit before, but some of you may not have remembered this. But when you do something through comedy, it's kind of a shield, okay? So if everybody's known that you're a goofball and everything you do is through sarcasm and comedy and stuff, it's basically you're protected from any kind of accountability. You're not held accountable for anything you do. That's why they say never debate a comedian, because they're just gonna say stupid shit. You could say the greatest things ever, and you could literally win the debate as far as like policy or stats or facts or whatever you're talking about. But the comedian can just sit there and say stupid stuff, and it gives off the illusion that you lost or that it didn't work out. And that's because it's a perfect defense mechanism. You don't have to be right, because when you're wrong, well, you're just a goofy idiot. Brandon Perna also does self-deprecation humor, which actually I think that's funny. I find self-deprecation humor funny, but it depends on the person. You got to be a certain type of person to do that. Otherwise, it just sounds like you're whining. But he's pretty good at that. But because he does this self-deprecation, him being wrong is actually part of his shtick. Him being wrong is actually useful for him, because he can say, ha, 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 I'm such a loser, I'm an idiot, ha, 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 right? If he's right, then he can say, oh, look, I know what I'm talking about, I'm brilliant, I know what, It's a win-win to do it through a comedic lens, okay? And there's a lot of guys like that. That's him. I think there's this Green Bay Packers guy, I can't remember his name. There's another guy, Urinating Tree. I used to like some of his videos, but I just kind of forgot about it. And his Jets video is one of my favorite. He's not as bad though as the other two, as far as that goes. But the point I'm getting at is that there's a lot of these guys doing comedy. They're wanting to be sports analysts, and you can tell that they want to do that and have serious takes and do serious things, but they do it through the lens of comedy. So If I'm ever funny on here, it's not on purpose. Like, it's usually me getting mad about something or thinking about something. But my whole thing is not comedy. I want to be right. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. I'm here to give you guys good analysis and what I think is what's going to happen and all that. So that's not my thing, and it's not everybody's. It's not for everybody. Comedy is more popular. Comedy is shared. When you're doing funny stuff and constantly joking around all the time, that gets shared, and it gets. Nobody's going to share good football analysis. Nobody wants to hear that unless you're a really hardcore fan, right? But anyway, I would absolutely love to do a thing with Brandon. But first of all, I doubt he even would. And second, it's just I don't see the point because he's not serious. So debating someone like that, it would just be, but I would love it, but I don't think it's going to happen. However, a PR representative of an author named Brian, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Tuohy, Tuohy, something. Okay. Yeah. So, he is an author that, funnily enough, okay, I've followed Brian's work for years. I've been following his work probably since like 2015, 2014, maybe even longer than that. Maybe longer than that. And what his work is that he is he's a guy who thinks the NFL is rigged. Okay, so he's written a lot of books. Very well written books. He has a website where he talks about each week about why it was rigged and all that. And I used to follow that. I used to love reading like his viewpoints. Like I didn't agree with them, but they were very interesting. So I knew this guy. He had been interviewed on the Dan Patrick Show and all this other stuff. But anyway, because of my debate video with Pat Truthner last Thanksgiving a year ago, Brian's, I guess, publicist, I don't know who this guy, I guess that's what you would call it, contacted me and asked me if I would want Brian on the show and to talk about NFL rigs. So we're going to do that. I've just got to write back to Brian because the publicist put me in contact with him. But I think that's going to be interesting and that'll be fun. So at least we'll get something like that. We'll have a guest on here. Again, it will be like the other one with Pat, but it will probably be more substance. You're not going to see Brian talk about magnets in the footballs. You're not going to see Brian talk about probably guys that are like, running the wrong way on purpose and all that stuff. I think he's probably going to be more in line with me as far as like, can these things happen? Of course they can happen, and the procedures and all that stuff. I think it's actually going to be a really good conversation. I have a lot of questions for him because when it comes to NFL, like rigging sports, not just NFL, all sports, like I said, he's written a lot of books on this. He knows his shit. Okay, so he knows like the history and what's going on. I have a million questions, and I bet you guys will too. So I'm really looking forward to that, and hopefully we'll get that going on at the beginning of the year next month. So. Blind Assassin, Justin, what's up? Justin, you took some losses, man. John Thomas Chavez, Yeager Tharn, what's up, guys? Glad you're here. Gord King, Minuteman, yeah. Yeah, Gord King, yeah. Gord King says there are a lot of movie reviewers that shield their bad takes under the guise of comedy. Yes, exactly. And I'm not saying that you can't be funny, but if Jesus Christ, what's that guy's name again? Brandon. If Brandon wants to debate, it would have to be like in a serious manner, like not like all just being stupid and all this stuff. And I just don't think that's what they do. So, but you can tell that originally in life, I don't think they ever intended to do that. I think they wanted to be real analysts. So it's just not a match. That's all I'm saying. So, But yeah, so there are movie reviewers like that. I bet, Gord King. Yeah. It's one thing. It's one thing to be a reviewer and you're funny, but it's different to be a comedian who does movie reviews. Like they're completely different things. So you don't really intersect them. It doesn't really work. Yeah. With Urinating Tree, yeah. I really loved a lot of his videos. He did some great videos early on, and I'm sure he has some good ones right now. I just haven't watched them in years. For some reason, he doesn't come up on my feed, and I kind of forgot about it. But yeah. He's not really what I'm referring to. I'm mainly referring to Brandon and that other guy, that Green Bay Packers guy. Yeah, Gord King says, I'm certainly trying to be funny on purpose during my videos. Of course. But my takes are what they are. Exactly. But yeah, Gord King, so you're funny, but I know that you're serious about what you're saying. And you're not just trying to, and then when you say something stupid, you're like, oh shucks, well, I'm just a loser. I'm just an idiot. You know, that's a different thing. So Gord King says, one popular YouTuber, Donkey, hides a lot of bad takes behind humor. Yeah, it's a quite popular thing. Yegor Tharn says, love Urinating Tree's LolCal series. Oh yeah, the Jets one is the best. I mean, I still think that's my favorite. The Browns is a good one too, and he did a few political ones before, and I thought those were good too. So yeah. Yeah, his shitting on the Steelers, that was pretty good too. I forgot about that one. Gord King says, one common dodge I see when someone calls out a bad take is, why are you taking this seriously? It's just comedy. Yeah, it gets on your nerves. This happens on X all the time. So someone will make a statement that is clear that they meant it and they were serious. And then when you make them look like a fool, they say, oh, I was just kidding around. I was just being sarcastic. And it's like, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. Dude, you were not, you know. So they do that. Yeah. Alrighty. Barry McCockner, yeah, that guy. So I've tried to debate him, and he will not. He refuses to. I tried to have other people even try to contact him, and nothing. So he doesn't want to have to defend his stuff. Basically, he's made an account, you know, a fairly successful account, just hating on Tom Brady, but doesn't want to back that up. So if I were to make an account where all I did was just crap on Mahomes, I would go on any show, I would go anywhere to defend my takes, you know. So it's obvious that his hatred for Tom is an emotional response and not an actual analytical one, and not something that he really believes. He's probably a fan of a team that is gotten the shit kicked out of them by Tom Brady for years. That's what I suspect. Oh, nice. Thank you, Elf. I'll get him right now. We have our first super chat of the night from Rumble. Alpha Courage sends a $10 super chat. Thank you, man. He says, let it be known throughout the empire that Mahomes has eliminated Gord King from 3 consecutive tournaments. Please, Gord King, stop picking Mahomes. All right, Daniel, what do you have to say? Defend yourself. Oh, that's a good point. Gory King says, Elf of Courage doesn't realize that I'm the greatest Mahomes jinx of all time. Do you honestly want me to stop? That's interesting. So, yeah, that's interesting. But we also need someone to win someone else to win that damn Xbox. We're trying to build a Xbox online coalition is what I'm trying to do. And if all the Xboxes keep going to Elf of Courage, then I'm not exactly building an Xbox community, am I? So somebody, Elf of Courage, if he wins this time, we're going to have to send him something else because can't just keep sending Xboxes all the time. So... yeah, so let's see. Let me get this other super chat real quick. Alpha Courage sends another super chat. That's $20 on the night. Thank you so much, Alpha. We really appreciate it. Difficult to get super chats nowadays. Thanks to YouTube. Elf sends another $10. He says, Dak just threw the longest touchdown pass in a Dallas Cowboys home game. What? What you talking? What in the living crap? Okay, I swear to you guys, I checked the schedule. And it said this game was on Sunday. I've been looking forward to this game. I really wanted to see this game, and I checked it. It said Sunday. What the hell is happening? So this is some bullshit. All right, well, hang on. I'm going to put it on. Damn it. I could have done the show last night, and then you guys could have had Goff and Prescott as an option. I checked it. I swear it said Sunday. None of the games said Saturday. None of them on the website. Maybe the website maybe they made a mistake or something. Okay, so I've got it pulled up now. At least I can update you guys on it and stuff. So, all right, cool. All right, so Dallas is 15-0 at home, I'm pretty sure. So they've won the last 15 straight. This is a tough game for them to be able to keep that streak going. And, the Lions are an indoor team. They obviously, and they tend to play well inside. So I don't think this is an easy game for Dallas, even though they're at home and even though they've been playing well at home. So obviously I'm going for the Lions. Guys, I want nothing more. I cannot tell you and express how much I want a Cleveland Browns Super Bowl versus the Detroit Lions. But if I can get just one of them, that would be phenomenal. Okay? Now, I'm making a promise to Addy Visorno, okay? And he'll probably be back next week because I think on Saturday nights, I think he can't make them, and that's why we've not seen him in a while. But I'm going to make a promise to Addy. Addy, if you're watching this later in replay, if the Browns either eliminate the Kansas City Chiefs from the playoffs, or they don't see the Chiefs, but they get to the Super Bowl, I will, okay? I will get some Cleveland Browns stuff, and I will wear it all through the Super Bowl, or all through the playoffs after they beat the Chiefs, that they run into the Chiefs, early. And next year, all next year, I'll have something Browns related, okay? That is how dedicated I will be, because that will be the greatest thing. It would just be massively awesome if that was the case, okay? So there you go, Addie. I'm making that commitment to you, my friend. So. Oh, nice run back by the Lions there. Okay. Kenneth Flagler Jr. What's up, Ken? Welcome back, my friend. He says, what is your favorite Patriot dynasty, the 2000s dynasty or the 2010s? The 2010s. I mean, I know it's easy to say that, but because the second dynasty had so much crap surrounding it. Okay, so the first three Super Bowls, Tom just came out of nowhere, and all of that just kind of happened really fast. There wasn't a lot of hate built up and all this crap. That was back when football was just football. So you could win, and that was cool, but it wasn't so just hardcore and people just psychotic and hating the guy and hating, that hate really didn't come along until a few years later, and more like 2006 is when I started to feel that kind of like, my God, they really hate they really hate this team. And then 2007 came, and you realize that the NFL itself hated the Patriots. So the beginning dynasty kind of was okay. It was kind of just enjoying the moment and all that stuff. The second one, 2014 through 2018, that involved, first of all, that started up because people said, oh, you haven't won in 10 years. You haven't won since Spygate. So there was that looming over. There was 2 Super Bowl losses already to the Giants. That was looming over them. Then Deflategate, okay? And then they won that Super Bowl, which is my favorite Super Bowl of all time, Super Bowl 49. Then at the end of that game, you've got the greatest the greatest play ever is Malcolm Butler's interception. Then in 2016, you've got Gronk going down, and it's basically like the end, and then you have the Atlanta Falcons come back. Then you've got 2017 going away Super Bowl. Tom throws for over 500 yards. You've got them trying to get rid of him, trying to replace him. And what does Tom do? He wins an MVP and says, fuck you. I'm the best thing that's ever happened to this organization. And then in 2018, they come back and they win again. That is extraordinary. And 2018 came with that Chiefs AFC Championship game. So I just think that in the first dynasty, I was very naive. First of all, I was much younger. Okay, when we won the Super Bowl, I was 20, 21. So I just, it's the first time my team ever won a Super Bowl. And then they just kept winning, and it was kind of like, okay, maybe this is how it's going to be, But that long period between, and then, so by the time the 2010s came, I wanted that so bad I couldn't even just explain how badly I wanted those Super Bowls. So I think they're the edge. What do you guys think? How you guys feel? That's a good question. I like questions like that. Thank you. Thank you for asking, Ken. Gord King says, next tournament, I'm employing the best possible strategy against Silver Courage. I'm picking every quarterback he picks until we face off. Yeager Tharn says, Aiden O'Connell is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. He's better than all of those dudes ever were. So speaking of Ryan Clark, he's such a douchebag. All right? So this is my impression of Ryan Clark. And I don't know if you guys are going to understand this. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing or what it means, but this is my impression of Ryan Clark. I'm going to do what Ryan Clark would do, okay? Christian McCaffrey is the greatest running back in history, okay? He's playing at a level that is better than Walter Payton, that is better than Jim Brown, that is better than Emmitt Smith, it's better than Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson. He's better than all of those dudes ever were. Christian McCaffrey. He's just playing at a level that we've never seen. Okay? It's just unreal. There's my Ryan Clark impression right there. Well, it's my Ryan Clark take, actually. You could also apply that to Shannon Sharp and Bomonte Jones and there's some other douchebag. I can't remember his name. I can picture his scraggly little face, but can't remember his name. Ace says, Brady, 2017, 2018, 2020, 2021, all seasons in his 40s are better than Mahomes' age 28 season. So Brady has four seasons in his 40s that are better than Mahomes' sixth season in the league in his prime. Yeah, well, don't say that around Chiefs fans. They might go and they might do mass suicide. Alpha Courage says, Jimmy Johnson will be inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor at halftime, I'm assuming. Yeah, well, it's absolutely ridiculous that it hasn't been done in 20 years. Like, that should have happened 20 years ago or more. Yeah, Spygate was the misdemeanor. Deflategate was completely made up. Yep. Gord King says, if anyone hasn't subscribed to his channel, he is 3 away from 800. The 800 subscribers' favorite team will almost certainly win a Super Bowl really soon. Then we need Addy to be the 800th subscriber. Oh, speaking of that, guys, we crossed 15,000. I don't know if y'all noticed, but that's cool. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed to Gord King, go. Go after the show. Don't go right now. Ace says, Mahomes in a stat-inflated era in his prime has 14 interceptions. Brady in a stat-inflated era never had more than 12. And Brady played into his 40s. Debate over. Ken says, I kind of agree. I will say the 2010s dynasty, that was a little there was a little exciting offensively compared to the 2000s dynasties. Yeah, like the early dynasty had that feeling of the first time winning. That's that, and also I have to add this. Okay, I was in a better personal place in my life during the second dynasty. You know, me and Milena were together, are together, but we were together then. So we got to do that, experience that together. I was with my family for a lot of those Super Bowls. It's just, you know, I just, there's a lot of angles there that I just picked the second half. Yeah, John Thomas Chavez. So I wanted to talk about that. Looks like they got all of the Cowboys greats on the field. But this is ridiculous. I mean, this should have happened a long time ago. Like it's Jerry Jones is such a douche sometimes, man. But at least they pulled all those guys together. That's cool. Okay. So the situation with the Denver Broncos. Okay, so they're gonna bench Russell Wilson. It's a salary cap situation where and a contract situation in general. Actually, they don't want to owe him guaranteed money against an injury or something like that. What it really looks like, and that doesn't take effect. That wouldn't be that's applied to 2025, not next year. But what it looks like is that they're maneuvering themselves to move on from Russell Wilson. So Russell obviously is not going to be on the Denver Broncos next year. They're going to trade him, and there will be a team that will make that trade. So, and Russell no doubt would have to restructure his contract with that new team. That's just how it works. So, regarding what the Broncos are doing, from right at this moment, an argument can be made that is a form of tanking. Okay, so it's a form of cheating, like removing your best quarterback, and then you end up, losing a lot of games. However, that really only applies if they don't win the next few games with Jarrett Stidham, right? So there you go. Another thing is this. I've noticed that people aren't mad about the owners for doing that. Or it doesn't seem to be that very many people are mad at them. But when a player does something like this, they villainize him and make him look like an evil, bad person, right? Not a team player. But when an organization does it, it's just business as usual, right? So everything's fine. I don't know. Which is it, right? So Sean Payton obviously is not sold on Russell. He never was. I think he wants his own guy. I was wrong about, Sean going there. I thought he went there for Russell Wilson. I thought that was the whole point. Apparently that's not the case, or if something has changed. So hear me out. Okay. I'm just gonna put a caveat here for this thing. I'm half joking. Okay. So, all right, here we go. Tom Brady and Sean Payton originally wanted to meet up in Miami. They didn't get to. So Tom takes the year off like Gronk did. Gronk took 2019 off. Gronk tells Tom, just take a year off, see what happens, and see if you get bored and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Get your head right, because he was going through the divorce. He hadn't seen his kids in a while, blah, blah, blah. Get your head right, and then maybe something comes up. Sean Payton calls Tom, hey, Tom, will you come back next year, and we'll work this out and move Russell Wilson out of here. Until then, we'll have Jarrett Stidham backing up. He used to be your backup anyway, so we kind of got an idea of the offense you like to run and things like that. And Sean Payton calls him up and he says, hey, Tom, can you bring Gronk with you? Okay. So wouldn't that be like the greatest thing of all time? Could you imagine like how amazing that would be? It's just, now, for that to actually be successful, though, the Broncos would have to really do make some changes in certain areas, like personnel and stuff. But I'll just put it this way: I'm never going to give up on Tom Brady being retired, okay, until the day that he is behind a booth on Fox Sports. So I know that he is scheduled to be in the booth next year for next season. So when it becomes obvious, actually, no, it doesn't even have to take that long. When he's not joining a team in training camp and then he's still scheduled to be in the booth, I'd say it's over. But this whole year that he's been out, I've still never been 100% sold. I'm probably 70% sold that he's done, okay? But, again, with Gronk taking that year off, Gronk has, undoubtedly told Tom how much it helped him and stuff. And like I said, Tom needed to just pull back. That was a weird situation his last season. It was just, everything was just screwed up for him. And now he's getting to go to his kids' games and stuff. And I wonder if that itch is coming back, that competitive thing. And maybe his kids are even like, hey, Dad, because they're playing football now. Maybe they want their dad to keep playing because they want to be around that now that they have more of an appreciation for it. All that could work, okay? So, is he done? Yeah, probably. But it doesn't hurt to have a little fun here, because we do know that Sean Payton and Tom have been trying to hook up for a while. They've been trying to make this work somehow. Sean Payton likes quarterbacks that can read defenses, throw the ball to the right guy, sit in the pocket and stuff like that. And apparently Russell isn't as good at that as we all assumed. So that's not his game. And apparently Sean Payton's just not, it just doesn't work. The fit doesn't work or something there. So other than that, I'm curious to see what Denver would do next year. Like, you get rid of Russell Wilson, but what do you replace him with? I don't know. I mean, maybe Sean Payton is looking at the draft or something. And we also have to remember something. Sean Payton hasn't won shit in over a decade, okay? So he's still kind of surviving off of reputation, right? But we need to see him do something. So it's not a guarantee that this is going to work if he moves off Russell Wilson, drafts a quarterback, and all that stuff. Okay, so people just assuming. It's kind of like the John Gruden thing. John Gruden, nobody made more money off of, as a coach, made more money off of a Super Bowl victory than John Gruden. How much? I mean, it's just crazy, right? But he never even come close to replicating that. At least Sean Payton has gotten to, NFC championship games and stuff. But yeah, let's just be real here. Let's not forget that Sean Payton needs to actually prove himself too. If you're dumping Russell Wilson, well, hey, at least Russell's won a Super Bowl more recent than you have, so you've got to make something happen if you're going to do that. So who knows? Ace says Aaron Rodgers is the best regular season quarterback ever while leading the league in passing yards 0 times in his career. You don't think Peyton is the best regular season quarterback? I'm not arguing with you. I'm just asking you. I'm just curious. Yeah, I can. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, just not a good fit. Mario Yoshi says, I'm rooting for the 49ers. The 49ers are clearly going to be in the Super Bowl. I think that's going to happen. I don't care. Generally, I don't care about Brock Purdy's performance against the Ravens. Other than that, he hurt his MVP chances. But as far as a team, I think they're fine. I think they're going to be fine. I still don't see a team in the NFC that's going to beat them. Is the Eagles going to beat them? Is the Cowboys going to beat them? Are the Lions going to beat them? Of course. I mean, no. There's nobody from the NFC South. That's just complete joke. So that's it, you know. They have a free ride to the Super Bowl as long as they're not just complete idiots. If it's not the 49ers from the NFC, then it's Dallas. But the reason I picked 49ers over Dallas is because I've seen Dallas choke too many times. They've folded in weird moments and weird times and just didn't make any sense, you know? And I just don't know. I don't trust them as much as the 49ers. With the 49ers, that Baltimore game, that's a cross-conference game. So, like, if they met in the Super Bowl, then I would be more concerned for the 49ers, but they're not going to meet them again. That's a game where people aren't really familiar with each other, so they can kind of go either way. Not too worried about that, but yeah, I still think the 49ers are going to bounce back and they'll be fine. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. Mario Yoshi asked me, wait, I went too far ahead. Oh, that's not mine. Okay. Diego Tharn says, was there any confirmation about that Miami stuff, or did that all come from the fact that Tom and Sean have Don Yee and their agent and Ross was talking to Yee? No. That all happened. That's all true. Yep. Came this close of Sean Payton being the coach of the Miami Dolphins and Tom Brady being their quarterback. Apparently, Tom wanted to play in Florida or wanted to live in Florida. So, Alpha Courage says Tom should bring Edelman back with him. Man, that would be awesome, but I don't know if Julian is healthy enough. I don't know his situation, and has he been staying in shape? I saw him talk on his show that he's not been, not that he can't get back in game shape, but I don't know. I don't know if that'd be great though, wouldn't it? That'd be awesome. So, Alpha Courage says, how good of a broadcaster could Tom actually be? I think he will be the best we've ever seen. So, whatever Romo can do, as far as like knowing what's coming and all that, Brady easily is going to do. Okay. Brady and Peyton Manning, if Romo knows that stuff, Brady and Peyton are easy. I mean, you've seen Peyton on, him and Eli calling these games on Monday Night Football and stuff. You see how easy it is for them. Tom's personality and his sarcasm is funny, and he just, the way he's going to approach the games, like the commentating, he's going to know everything about every player. He's, you know how he is. He's just like psycho about that stuff. He's just going to know so much. And I don't think he's going to be like Romo, where he falls in love with one particular player and gushes over them. You have to remember that a lot of the quarterbacks in the booth nowadays they hype up quarterbacks because they want to they have an ulterior motive. So if you remember Trent Dilfer talking shit, about Brady and stuff, and he was the one that was crying on camera about Deflategate and all this stuff. Or what was that? Wait, that wasn't Trent Dilfer. That was old Jaguars quarterback. What's that guy's fucking name? He also played for the Redskins. Shit. He was a backup on the Jets at the end of his career. Help me out, guys. Mark Brunell. Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Mark Brunell. So, yeah, that was Mark Brunell that cried. But anyway, they need to discredit Brady. So they want to hype up because it makes him look bad. So like Romo hates Tom Brady. He fucking hates him. Okay. And so they've got to hype up these new guys. It's in their best interest. And that's what they feel, and so they're always going to do that. Tom is the GOAT. So he doesn't have to hype up anybody. He doesn't have to fall in love with any player. He just, does what he does. And I think that's going to be great. So what I'm hoping is that it's not a two-person group. I think it'd be more fun to have three. I think a third should be like Gronk or somebody like that, like a really just a character that kind of offsets everything. So you've got the play-by-play, you've got Tom's analysis, and then you've got the kind of funny guy who tells stories and talks about, his career and stuff like that. I think that would be a great situation there. So. Justin Shetlet says, so are you saying that McCaffrey is performing as the best ever this season or for his career? I'm talking about both. I'm talking both because I'm Ryan Clark. So McCaffrey is better than all those dudes ever were. All of them. They're all done. They're all finished. They suck. They're nothing. They're nothing compared to McCaffrey. We've never seen anything like that. Ever. Ever. It's over. It's finished. It's McCaffrey. Mario Yoshi asked me, Von Allen, what do you want to see the Patriots do next year? Well. Help encourage send another super chat. Awesome. What do I want to see them do? I want to see a lot of things. So I want to see Belichick leave because I know he won't give up the GM duties. If he was willing to give up the GM duties, I would absolutely want to keep Belichick, okay? Because who else is there, right? I'm a little disappointed now because I've heard that Jim Harbaugh cannot be hired, and I kind of thought that would be kind of cool. So I don't know if that'll work or not. But Bill needs to move on. Maybe it's not next year. Maybe it's the year after. But it's not Bill. When I say Bill needs to move on, it's not because I think there's going to be some guy better than that. Okay, that's not the point. The point is I think Bill needs to change. I think the Patriots need to shift. I think it's too much of the stress of the post Brady era and all this, and it's just getting worse and worse and digging a deeper hole. I think it all needs to be blown up and just switched and trust something else. It may not be better, but that's just the way it is. I think Belichick needs to go to the Chargers. He needs to go coach the Chargers and see if he can get a ring. The Patriots, as far as Robert Kraft, needs to retire. He needs to give the team to John, completely and utterly to John. Let John do whatever he wants. Let John start fresh as the new owner, hire his own GM, hire his own head coach, and then let him do that and see what he can do. I think this should have happened with Jonathan a long time ago. I think it would have been great. So that's what I would like to see. So Belichick would be stupid, though, not to leave and want to go to the Chargers. I think that would be, but I don't know. Maybe he might be afraid to go. What if he goes there and he fails? So he ain't got no excuses. At least right now he can say, "Well, I lost the greatest quarterback of all time," and whatever. Although that's not a very good excuse and it doesn't work, but it would work long term. So, but if he goes to the Chargers with that good of a quarterback and that good of a roster, and he can't get that done. If he can't even get them to a Super Bowl, then that looks worse, right? It makes me feel like maybe that's why he didn't try to go after a stud quarterback, like a great quarterback. I didn't understand. I thought at one point I thought Matt Ryan might have been a good fit to go after. Then I was mad that he didn't try to go after Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was like getting Aaron was like a double victory in my opinion, because not only do you get Aaron, but you keep him off the Jets. And I think that would have been a, as they say in chess, that would have been a fork, right? So, yeah, I just, yeah. Alpha Courage says the $10 super chase is just check the week's matchups for yards. Hurts versus Cardinals. For TDR, it's Purdy versus the Commies. Interesting. Why are you giving away your game plan there? But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Alpha Courage says, how is it profitable for teams to be horrendously bad? Yeah. I don't think it is. I mean, I don't know. Gord King says, I think Tom Brady is the greatest regular season quarterback and the greatest playoff quarterback and the greatest Super Bowl quarterback. I respect that. Tapasio says, I miss watching a quarterback that plays like Brady. That posture and standing in the pocket, tall in the pocket, not afraid to, yeah. It's a great thing. Oh, okay, Ace, I got you. Minuteman says it's going to be 49ers versus Dolphins. Interesting. 1984 Super Bowl rematch. Ace says Brady's 251-82 and broke every fucking record ever in the regular season, so he is the best regular quarterback. Yeah, he also has the undefeated season, right? So that's, yeah. First unanimous MVP ever. Should still be the only unanimous MVP in my opinion. First quarterback to throw to 50 ever. Led the league in touchdowns 5 times, passing yards 4 times, 3-time MVP, comeback player of the year, broke the touchdown interception ratio record twice. That's a good argument. That really is, Hey, here's my thing, though. When it comes to quarterbacks, okay? When it comes to quarterbacks, I'm a little weird about the MVP. Like, I've noticed that the way the MVP is voted on, it's very strange. It doesn't really tell you who the best quarterback was that year. There's so many years where I just want to change, like, what the deal is on that. But yeah, those some really good statistics, man. Just catching up here. Yeah, no way Bill gives up GM power. Yeah, I know. I agree. John Thomas Chavez says, according to Rodgers' agent, Bill did try to trade for him, but Aaron declined. Really? Well, what was he declining? The the team itself, like Bill himself, or was he declining the situation, like their roster? I'm curious what that's interesting. Or was it an agreement, like a contract agreement, like the Jets had agreed to, like to change it a little bit? Oh, that makes sense, actually. That makes sense that why Aaron might decline that. Because, first of all, the Patriots roster sucks complete ass garbage, right? Then he knows that Bill's got a reputation for being hardcore. Probably didn't want to deal with that. I think Aaron wanted to run the organization. He wanted to bring in his own guys, so he did. You saw, all the guys they signed for him. He wanted to bring in his offensive coordinator with Hackett. He basically wanted control of the organization. And going into New England wouldn't have done that. So, okay. Well, if Bill tried, then I've got to then I'll change my opinion about that, obviously. So that's good. I'm glad to at least hear that he tried then. I thought he didn't. So that's interesting, though. But yeah, it makes sense why Aaron would decline that, though. Yeah. Yeah, Ken. Malcolm Mitchell was awesome for what his potential was going to be. I thought we had that next guy as well, but unfortunately he had some injury issues. Hopefully Amon-Ra can score a touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown. So the Lions are driving. So I'm good with this game either way. I want the Lions to win, obviously. They're going to win their division anyway. So that'll make me happy. If the Cowboys win, I'll be happy for Israel because he's a big Cowboys fan and he's suffered enough, I think. So if Amon-Ra St. Brown can score this, I'll play the video again. Here we go. Let's go.
Now they just have to finish. Here's Montgomery. It's third down. The Lions can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Third downs tonight, a different story than the previous 2 weeks when they got wins at home against Denver and a win to clinch the division in Minnesota. 0 for their last 7.
Okay. Here we go. Third and two.
3 or less. Montgomery.
There it is. Montgomery, touchdown. Detroit up.
The veteran center, Frank Ragnow, with a good block and a 3-yard touchdown for Montgomery. His 12th touchdown carry of the season. Yeah, Frank Ragnow, the Pro Bowl center, having a great year. Watch him 77 as he comes up and then picks off the linebacker. The only guy who really has a chance to try to make a play. He's trying to fill the hole is Marquise Bell, but Ragnow, he times it perfectly off the double team, comes up, gets him, and allows for the touchdown. Second lead of the night for the Lions.
Just 1 second. We have another super chat. Elva Courage sends a $10 super chat. He says, hang on, let me mute this real quick. Elva Courage says, you should try to get Amon-Ra to be a live stream guest. Absolutely. I already thought about that. I'm going to ask him. He also said, you should start having live guests on your show again, like Adonis and Shaq. Yeah, I'll bring Adonis back. He's a cool dude. I don't want to bother him all the time or whatever, but I can ask him again. It's been a year. It's been a year since he's been on, so I think once a year is probably pretty good. He's a huge Steelers fan, so I'm sure he has a lot to say about that. So yeah, I'll write to him, ask him if he wants to. As far as Shaq, there's no fucking way in hell that's ever going to happen. So, nope. Gord King says, if Flacco wins the Super Bowl this season, he'll have 14 playoff wins, which would tie him for third most all time. Isn't that insane? That's just crazy. So, if Flacco can win the Cleveland Browns a Super Bowl, NFL headquarters in New York might have to put a Flacco statue up, right? Like something's got to happen, right? Like, seriously though, let me ask you something. What happens? What do we do with Joe Flacco? Like, what do we do with him? How do we approach this? Okay, I'm just a serious question. So he goes on one of the best playoff runs a quarterback's ever had. Not the best, but one of the best. Then he's okay. He's okay as the Ravens quarterback for most of his career. Throws some good yards, some touchdowns, things like that. He was never just awful as the Ravens quarterback. And then, or maybe the last year, but whatever. And then he kind of goes into mediocrity, nothing, nobody cares. But then let's say he comes and then he wins the Super Bowl for the Browns. Just tears it up all through the playoffs, and then he's Super Bowl MVP. What do you do with that? I don't know. I think it's one of those situations where you're so stunned that the Browns won a Super Bowl, you're kind of like, and what makes it even funnier is that the Ravens used to be the Browns, and that although that's not technically relevant to a quarterback's position, but it is kind of funny though. So. But seriously, what do you do with him? How do we approach this? Like, how do we? That's an interesting thing. It's just too crazy to imagine. It's too crazy to imagine. Gord King says, Flacco's going to the Hall of Fame if Cleveland makes the Super Bowl. Okay. Just making it. They don't have to win it? That's interesting. Man. Oh, that's definitely true, Gord King. So Gord King is saying that if Eli Manning gets to go to the Hall of Fame, which he's not a Hall of Famer, but the idiots will put him in, then that would put Flacco ahead of Eli easily, because Flacco won with the Browns, and he won with two different teams, which is insanely difficult. So only two quarterbacks ever have been able to do that because it's so difficult. Others, Kurt Warner came close. He took the Cardinals to the Super Bowl, and they couldn't close the deal on that one. But yeah, so. The problem I have with the Hall of Fame is that people, for the criteria to put someone in, they put them up against the lowest ranked person that's in there as the standard. And so what we tend to do is we keep making the same mistakes over and over again based off of a mistake that shouldn't have happened. Okay, so there's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame that don't belong there. And it's just getting so crowded. We've had this talk a million times, but it's ridiculous. For statistics, they use Joe Namath is the barometer. Joe Namath is what they look at. Okay, well, Joe is a unique situation. Joe's not in there because of how great of a quarterback he was. It's more of the legacy of the Jets beating the Colts and the merger of the two leagues and his guarantee that they're going to win. All that around it, that's a massive part of NFL history. One of the biggest moments in NFL history. So that's what Joe is about. That's what Namath is all about. And no doubt he made the NFL insanely more popular because he was so charismatic and marketable and Broadway Joe and all that. So you can't use his stats as a quarterback as really the reason why you're letting some guy in. And we keep making that mistake. And then then there's other guys that don't belong in the Hall of Fame. Jim Kelly is not a Hall of Famer, shouldn't be in there. Warren Moon shouldn't be in there. I'll be honest with you, to be honest with you, I would cut down almost all of it. Like Dan Fouts, no, don't want him in there. I know they're going to put Phillip Rivers. I know they're going to put Ben Roethlisberger at some point. So again, each guy needs to be judged by their own situation and what they contributed. I'm just much more strict about the Hall of Fame than most people. And there's some guys from the old days that I might remove as well. I'd probably remove as well. So if I was the one that was, doing that, but yeah, I mean, based off of the whole, they're going to put Eli Manning in. If you use that as the judge, then Joe Flacco is above Eli. Joe Flacco wasn't leading the league in interceptions every year. Okay, Eli Manning. People seem to forget that Eli Manning was an atrociously bad quarterback for many seasons. There were a lot of seasons where he wasn't just bad, he was fucking awful. I'm talking just like downright disgustingly bad. All right? There's just no debating that. If Flacco wins the Super Bowl with the Browns, then that he easily eclipses it. Just easily. It's just done. So But yeah, it's the criteria is all screwed up anyway. So the Hall of Fame should be. Oh yeah, Kurt Warner shouldn't be in there either. Kurt Warner and Warren Moon, two of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. It just shows you that this is not an emotional decision. This is something I think that's important that you have to look at. But they just let anybody in. So the Hall of Fame, especially at the quarterback position, needs to be very, very prestigious. I'm talking very difficult because, again, I said it before. When you put a quarterback in the Hall of Fame, so you're putting a guy that is equal on the same level as Montana, as Otto Graham, as all the guys that came before him. And then now it's going to be you're putting a guy equal footing with Peyton and Tom Brady and John Elway and Johnny Unitas. That's what you're doing when you do that. There's no differentiation. There's no ranking. It's not like, oh, he's only the 14th best quarterback. 50 years from now, people are going to have trouble judging who's who, so they're just going to think they're all great. And in reality, that's very misleading. So that is my thinking process. It's the same with the coaches, too. Remember, when you give someone a Hall of Fame bust, you are putting them at that same level of the other guys. And that should be something that's very delicate, should be treated very carefully when you're deciding who goes in. But they've completely and utterly destroyed it already. When they didn't let Terrell Owens in as the first ballot Hall of Famer, they completely destroyed their credibility because it was about emotion and it was about your view of a person, not the player, not the on-field player. And the Hall of Fame is supposed to be about your on-field ability, what you contributed to the NFL. And so when they did that, they took 3 years to induct him. And even their own arguments against Terrell Owens doesn't work because they let Randy Moss in the first time. And Randy Moss was a troublemaker too. He was a locker room cancer too. Okay. So except that with Terrell didn't take plays off. Terrell was a very hard worker. Randy would play when he wanted, when he felt like it. Okay. But they let Randy in the first time. So if you're going to let Randy in, your reasons against Terrell Owens has no substance. It makes no sense. So what that did is that completely destroyed their credibility, and that's it. That basically that was the thing that put them over the top as far as I'm concerned about their credibility is complete shit. It's just absolute trash. So. Yeah, Ace, I completely agree. When putting in a Hall of Famer, when judging a guy, you need to take the top 5 Hall of Famers, get an average, and see where they measure up. But what they do is they take the worst 5. They take the lowest of the group and see if they can sneak them in there. Just shove them in there. Oh, maybe. They did that. Honestly, guys, they did that for Kurt Warner. Okay, they put him in there because of his story. But if you look at what he achieved, he fell a bit short. Okay, had he gotten the Super Bowl in 2001 or had he gotten the Super Bowl with the Cardinals in 2008, then I can see the argument, because he probably would have he would have been MVP of those Super Bowls had he had won them. So that would be another Super Bowl MVP on top of a Super Bowl ring, and he had 2 MVPs already, and that might have changed things, So maybe that now you're talking something else because you're putting them on par with honestly guys like Elway as far as statistically and Troy Aikman and stuff like that. So. Yeah, maybe, but not enough, and I love Kurt Warner, okay? He's one of my favorite players ever, but I just want to see the Hall of Fame more prestigious, that's all. It's the same thing with Julian Edelman. People, Pats fans keep saying Julian Edelman, Hall of Famer. Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's the same thing again, and I don't even, it's not just quarterbacks I have a problem with, wide receivers. Calvin Johnson is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's absolutely fucking absurd. I don't think so. If you're not, like I said, if you're not going to let Terrell in the first 3 tries, you're going to let Calvin Johnson in. Are you kidding me? No, sorry. And I think you should be disqualified anyway. After you hadn't got in a decade, yeah, sorry, it's over. So, of course, that would only matter before the Terrell Owens incident. Now it doesn't matter because now we know that they're a bunch of children who make emotional decisions instead of an analytical one. Yep, Ryan, absolutely about Randy Moss. Yeah. If Joe Namath was not in the Hall of Fame, they couldn't use his stats as the standard. They would have to change everything. And unfortunately, it's Namath that they use. Namath is the one is how they got Kelly in. It's how they got Warner in. It's how they got Moon in. That's the standard. So it is what it is. I loved Warren Moon. Guys' posters were on my wall as a child. But he collapsed in big games, man. He did. He threw a lot of yards, amazing thrower, awesome, but just collapsed too many times. He could never get there. With some of those Oilers teams, not only should have made it to a Super Bowl, but should have won. He should have at least 2 rings, in my opinion, as talented as they were. That's just a failure. That's bad. I have a hard time putting a guy in a Hall of Fame who's never even played in a Super Bowl. Okay? You hear me? Dan Fouts fans? You hear me? Phillip Rivers fans? Never played in a Super Bowl. But now that they got Warren Moon in there, they're going to use that. There you go. So it's like, okay. Again, they're always going to look at the lowest situation. If that guy's in, then we can get this guy in. And it's going to keep getting lower and lower and more diluted over and over and over. They're going to keep doing that. So. Yeah, Ace, that's a good point about Jason Terry. Yeah, that is a good point, though. Yeah, I mean, when the Mavericks, they took that ring from the Miami Heat. And, yeah, Jason Terry, LeBron couldn't do anything with, and, yeah, that's kind of how it works. Gord King says, Julian had 3 great regular seasons and was a great playoff performer. Pats Hall of Fame, of course. NFL Hall of Fame, no. Exactly. Yeah, Yegar Tharn makes a point here. Sterling Sharp's not in the Hall of Fame. Heinz Ward, Torrey Holt aren't in the Hall of Fame. How in the world could you put Julian Edelman in there? So that's a huge that's a fan's, like that's just a fan perspective, and instead of an actual thinking about like, wait, what? So looks like Detroit's about to score again. Well, it's 4th and 3, and now there's a flag. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm catching it wrong. Okay, so Goff went out there to try to draw him off sides. Didn't work, so they took the delay of game. And now they're going to kick it. Okay. So more than likely, you're going to take the lead here. Man. 30-yarder. Yeah, you needed that room there. Too close. Okay. So Detroit's up 13-10. This is weird, guys. This is weird. We're in a season right now where like all the good quarterbacks are out for the year, and we've got the Browns and the Lions in contention for possibly a Super Bowl run. So here we are. Tyree Vaughn. Tyree. Co-console with Justin Chetlet, the highest rank you can achieve in the Von Allen Empire. $50 a month on Patreon. Thank you so much, Vaughn. He sends a $10 super chat. He says, Joe Flacco redemption. There it is. And let's hope, because there's nobody in the AFC that's in the playoffs right now that I would rather see go to the Super Bowl than the Browns. Now, I'm going to ask all you guys directly. Is there someone else in the AFC that you would rather see in the Super Bowl than the Cleveland Browns? Any other team that's actually, it's possible. Don't pick some team that's not even in playoff contention or even close to playoff contention. But is there anybody of the good teams that can actually do it? Is there anybody that you want to see in the Super Bowl more than the Browns? I'm just curious what you'd pick and why. I get to ask you guys some questions now. Changing around here. Gord King says, Joe Flacco also beat Colin Kaepernick. He should be in the Hall of Fame just for sparing the world that guy having a ring. You know, Gord King, I can say this. If Colin Kaepernick actually had won, then he doesn't become a social justice warrior. Because the reason he became a social justice warrior was to get away from the 49ers and to get, he thought that was going to like get him a new deal with new team and all that stuff. So it wasn't because that's who he is and that's what he believed in. It was all a PR stunt. It was all fake to try to force the 49ers into doing something. It just backfired on him. Had he won that ring, maybe the team, we've seen how winning a Super Bowl can change the trajectory of a team and the course of how they are. Funnily enough, I was actually a fan of Collins back then. So I liked his game. He just kind of, he brought this excitement to the game. I thought it was pretty cool. Of course, that was back before all, and then before he started sucking badly. So maybe if he does win a ring, then all the other stuff doesn't actually happen. It's possible. Maybe it does, but it's possible. So Ryan Dyer asked a question here that it's very difficult for me. And I'm not going to lie. This has been a subject matter for me for a while in my mind. I've not talked about it much, but he says, is Dan Marino a Hall of Famer? Okay, so to be honest, if we go by the very hardcore conditions that I have, we're going to have to take a long look at Dan Marino. We're going to have to really look. Now, I'm not giving an answer either way because that's for, I have a plan for that. I have a way of kind of figuring this out. But it is worth saying that it's something to be looked at. I'm not saying that he's out or anything like that, but here's the thing. I don't like stats that much. As far as I'm talking like bulk stats, like yards, for example. Okay, so I don't like them as a standalone. I don't like them as the actual thing that you use for comparison or for a reason for somebody. I see them as a complementary thing. Like it just adds on to something that you already have, and it helps your argument. It enhances it. You know, it's like I don't know, getting the add-ons in all the bells and whistles to a badass car, right? So you've got the badass car, and then the other stuff just makes it even cooler than somebody else's standard version. But if you don't have the car and you just have the extra stuff, you've got nothing, right? That's kind of like how I see yards in a way. A lot of stuff. There's several other stats I see like that. But yards is one of them. Because yards is a product of an era. It's a product of the situation. So just like yards now, today, yards can be used to overstate a quarterback's greatness as far as all time. Lack of yards in the past can be used against a quarterback unfairly. So I'm not big on that. Dan Marino gets in through a lot of bulk stats, right? And also at a time where he was doing something that nobody else was doing. The yards, he was throwing for modern yards now, what we know yards and touchdowns to be. He was doing this in the 1980s, which is insane and crazy. But, okay, it did not translate to winning. Stats are cool, but if they don't translate to equal something, then what good are they? What good is all of what Dan Fouts did if it didn't get him anywhere? What good? I used to say this about Drew Brees, Mr. Stat Whore. I call Drew Brees Stat Whore. All of his stat whoring, he got a Super Bowl, so I'm not taking it away from him. I'm just saying, though, that after that, it's like, what is all this for? Like, what good is it if it's not connecting? If the results are not winning? That's I don't care if Drew Brees threw for 5,000 yards if the team is 7-9. Well, who gives a shit? You know? But, you know, you'll have Saints fans that will pluck that up there and as some kind of like, hey, look at this. It's so great. Okay, whatever, dude. I mean, but yeah. They always post how many yards every year. He led the league in yards every year. Who fucking cares? Did it end up in a Lombardi? In 2009, that was it. And that was after that, nothing. So do I care? No, not really. That's kind of where I'm at for yards. And Dan Marino's entire legacy obviously is off of that. Strangely enough, here's another interesting thing. For all of Dan Marino's stats and all of that was going on, he's only been All-Pro one time. I think that's strange and surprising. It's surprising, but yeah, I mean, and in order to get that, it took his 1984 season, that insane year, 48 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. I mean, that's what it took. Touchdown Cowboys, Brandon Cooks. Ah, that's a name we all recognize. Brandon Cooks travels. He gets around, man. But boy, is he a good addition for this Cowboys roster. This is a good placement. He's been playing well for them. So think of stats for quarterbacks as a complementary piece, but they don't really hold up on their own, in my opinion. Because all those great things have to equal something. And just to further back up my point, who gets MVP every year? Is it the guy with the most touchdowns? Is it the guy with the most yards? No. It's a guy with a lot of stats, but what is the thing that gives him the edge? his win-loss. Okay? Why do they do that? Why did Aaron Rodgers get the MVP over Tom Brady? Because the Bucs didn't have a good record as the Packers. So they looked at that and said, well, Aaron Rodgers' statistics are translating more to victory. So his stats have more substance. That is how they do it. That's how they look at it. Right now, everyone's talking about Lamar Jackson. We need to talk about the MVP, by the way. Lamar Jackson's stats are, they're what they are. I mean, they're not incredible. This isn't 2019 Lamar Jackson or anything, but he's got the best record in the NFL. It's translating. His effort is translating to wins. That's what they're looking for. And why shouldn't it be the same when it's Hall of Fame, right? Why shouldn't it be the same? What did it equal? What's the outcome here? Because if you're 1 in 15 and throw for 6,000 yards, who gives a flying fuck? I mean, honestly, right? Does it matter? You know? Besides, someone's going to end up doing that eventually. So. Elf of Courage sends another $10 super chat. Elf is on fire tonight. He says, so in terms of stats, wins, and championships, what would be your lowest common denominator for Hall of Fame enshrinement? I think you need a ring. I think without a ring, I don't know. I think that's where it starts. I think the ring starts the conversation. Again, I know that kind of contradicts with the Marino thing because I'm not giving a definitive answer on Marino yet. Need to really think hard about it. But let's say going forward, because we have several guys in the Hall of Fame already that don't have a ring. But going forward, I think that has to be something. What is the job of the quarterback is to lead. You are a general, okay? What good are you a general if you lose all your battles, okay, and all your big battles? What kind of general are you? You know, you're not. You suck, okay? A general without a quarterback without a Super Bowl is like a general who wins like skirmishes against a few barbarian tribes, but when they go up against Pompey Magnus, okay, or Carthage and Hannibal or something, they shit themselves, right? No, you got to be Julius Caesar. You got to beat those guys. You got to take them out. You got to be Scipio Africanus, who goes down to Carthage and salts the fucking place so they can't ever grow foods and crops again and completely annihilates their civilization. You got to win. You got to win big. That's what you've got to do. That's what we're looking for. So without a Super Bowl, what is all that other shit? You can be the highest trained guy, best, flashiest guy and all this stuff, but it's not equaling victory. So that's what we got to, I think that's got to start. A beginning, it's got to start with that, okay? So once you got that, then you can build off that. All right, so now let's look at maybe have multiple ones. Also, you want to look at Super Bowl appearances. That helps. To add on, again, these are add-ons now. MVPs are good, all pros, all that stuff. How many years were they the best? How many years were they the top 5 quarterback every single year against their peers? Okay? And then after all that, you can add on to where are they at in career yardage. Yeah, that's cute and all, but what is it average compared to everybody else, And then you can add on that other crap. But I think from now on, to even start a conversation, the guy has to have a ring. If he doesn't have a ring, then all that other shit is just meaningless. Like, to me, again, this is going forward. I still have to think on the Marino thing. He may be the anomaly. He may be the exception. Okay, he may be because of how great he was. All right. Maybe he's the exception. Maybe he's not. I'll get back to you on that. I don't want to. This is a big decision because this is Dan Marino we're talking about. So, but going forward, it has to be Super Bowl. Okay, so the Lions, they're punting it back again. Bad. That's not good for them. Yeah, they needed to score on this drive. Goff's arm got hit. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good for the Lions, I mean. It's good for Israel, though. The people who made those Burger King commercials should be scourged and crucified. Okay. I will never eat at Burger King ever again because of those commercials. Although you probably shouldn't be eating at Burger King anyway, but you get my point. Yeah, Ace. Well, with the resume for somebody in Hall of Fame, the longer the argument takes, I think the worse it is for that guy. And I think it should, it shouldn't be too complicated. If you're arguing for half an hour about it, then, I'm talking about in their committee. They're 50. There's like 50 people who voted on the Hall of Fame, I think. Same for MVP. But if you're arguing for an hour or whatever for this guy, then maybe it's not there. I mean, what are you going to say when Tom Brady comes up? Nothing? There's no point. Tom Brady. Okay, up next we have Tom Brady. Okay. I mean, maybe they mention his resume just as a formality, but it's not necessary. It's a foregone conclusion. In fact, I think they make an exception and make him the only player ever to not have to wait for eligibility. I think that would be, I'm not joking, that would be a good way to honor him and to show what he's done. I know people want to change the name of the trophy from the Lombardi Trophy to the Tom Brady Trophy. As cool as that would be, that's wrong. You don't do that, okay? But a good gesture, if you wanted to honor him like that, would be, because the NHL retired number 99. So for Gretzky. So if you want to do something like that, then why don't you make him the first guy ever that doesn't have to wait, for eligibility? So I think that would be a great honor. I think that would be great, and that would be nice. So. Okay, so I asked you guys a question, and now you're getting back to me. Okay, so some of you guys are not going for the Browns. So the Minuteman says he's going for Bills. Maybe he's not sure. Yeager Tharn says if Joe Burrow wasn't out, I would say the Bengals. I agree with that. I really like Joe Burrow, and Milena likes Joe Burrow too, but she likes him for different reasons. But Yeager says, yeah, I'm pulling for Cleveland. Maybe Buffalo. I don't know. Yeah, I like Josh Allen too. I like Lamar Jackson. I like his game as well. As far as I'm sorry, not his game. His attitude. Like I like his demeanor. I like how he is, how he approaches playing. So. He's not like a look at me, I'm Mr. MVP, State Farm crap guy, like somebody we know. Tyree Vaughn says Ravens, so Lamar can get a ring. There you go. Justin says possibly Buffalo. Again, that's two possibly Buffaloes, like not sure. Ryan says Jags because of Mr. Sunshine. Okay, Trevor Lawrence, that's a nice approach. Kaepernick having a Super Bowl ring. Yeah. Justin says Marino is not a Hall of Famer. Okay. Satire Junk says, I didn't know Vaughn liked Cap. I thought Cap was a bad quarterback ever since that 180 rushing yard against the Packers. So I liked Cap that year, 2012. So it was that year. He seemed to have that kind of excitement. He brought that kind of excitement, that kind of edge to the NFL a little bit. Thought it was kind of cool. He seemed like a nice guy. He seemed like a good dude. I preferred Alex Smith, but I did like Colin briefly until kind of like you saw kind of who he was, and then his game went to shit. So we kind of know that his game, most of it was Harbaugh related, probably. So yeah, it was a very brief thing, very very brief, but it's true. What can I say? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Okay, Dak just threw the world's worst fucking pass I've ever seen. What the hell was that shit? You had a guy wide open on a crossing route. What are you doing? Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe Dallas will choke this away. Nope. There you go. Great throw for the first down. Hitting them in stride. Good job. Okay, so Lions, they do have all their timeouts. I will never understand coaches who give up their timeouts in the second half. You got to be a complete dipshit to do that. And, I mean, I don't care. I don't care what the situation is. Never give up your timeouts, ever. Take the delay of game. Punt it if you have to. I don't give a shit. Do not give up your timeouts until the end of the game. Just do not do that. Got 3:30 left in the quarter, or in the game. Okay, so yeah, that's what I would have ran that play too on first down. Okay. CeeDee Lamb out there with Michael Irvin's number. That's interesting. Seeing how Mike's there tonight. Second and 5. Throw away. Nothing there. Okay. Alva Courage says, so Dan Marino is the pimp my ride quarterback. I guess you could call him that. Satire Junk says, Drew Brees fans are the worst, especially when they do the Brees was wasted and deserved better. What does that even mean, deserved better? A lot of those Saints team had great defenses. He had a great head coach. What else? I mean, you had great offensive players. I don't know. Deserved better. What is that? What do they mean by that? I'd like to know. So, 3rd down and 5. This is it for Detroit. They can't. Oh, huge sack and a fumble. I think he was down already though. It doesn't matter. Dallas recovered anyway. So. Okay. Shit's about to get real now. Just Hutchinson, man, this spin move he made just to get to Dak, that was fantastic. I don't know if you guys are watching the game or not, but then he done some really, really gay dance celebration. What the fuck was that? What's going on? Are they like handing out soy milk, in the NFL these days? We always got these guys fucking crying or making up these weird sayings or dancing like fairies on the field. What is that shit? Maybe he's related to Asa Hutchinson. That might explain it. All right. That's a deep dive comment right there for you guys. Gord King says, Brandon Cooks was so good in New England that Bill thought, nah, he's a bit too good for the team. Let's trade him. Yeah, well, isn't that how it works in New England? Blind Assassin says, when Rodgers won his last MVP, the Bucks and Pack was 13-4. Yeah, but it's based off regular season, though. So going to the regular season, the Packers had the number one seed, so they defaulted to Aaron, unfortunately. Yeah, Eva Courage sent $50 in super chats. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Oh, great throw. Great throw by Goff. High pressure throw right there, deep in your own territory. Man, if Jared can get a game-winning, if he can get a game-winning winner on this one, man, that's in Dallas. They haven't lost 15 games at home. Are you fucking kidding me? Shit, that was a great play, though, man. By the way, Jared Goff just got picked off when I said that. That was a great pick by Wilson, though. The throw was on target. I mean, I guess the only thing you could say is it could have been a little farther to the left and a little higher. Okay, so the Lions essentially have 3 timeouts. They have the 2-minute warning, which, well, now there's a flag, but they've got 2 timeouts. If they can hold Dallas to a field goal, then you've got some time there. So. And penalties on the offense. But that takes you down to the 2-minute warning now. So. Or you could decline the penalty, I guess. Yep. That was not good. Of a Courage, you said General Washington would like a word. What are you referring to? Yegar Tharn, you mentioned, or Yegar Tharn says, during the Revolutionary War, I'm pretty sure the British won a bunch of battles but lost the war. Yes, exactly. George Washington ultimately won the Super Bowl. But the British did win some games. You know, they had a good record, actually. They were like the number one seed. You know, they went 15-1 kind of thing and won some games. But then when it came down to it, they lost, you know. So it's kind of, in fact, you might want to, you can compare the British and America in the Revolutionary War to the Giants versus the undefeated Patriots. You know, so you've got the British just pasting everybody in all these different battles, but George Washington was playing the long game, and it worked. So yeah. Yegar Tharn says also, Pyrrhus of Epirus won a bunch of battles, but they never amounted to anything, and he ended up getting struck in the head by a brick thrown by some peasant. Pyrrhus, that is Pyrrhus. That is where the term a Pyrrhic victory. You know what a Pyrrhic victory is? A Pyrrhic victory is when you technically win, but the battle is so bad and it's so horrible that victory tastes almost as bad as defeat. You know, it's like, was it worth it kind of thing. I'm sure the Russians felt something akin to that after World War II, you know. But Yeager Thorn, that was a deep dive there with Fierce. I'm glad you guys seem to know a lot more about history than I thought you guys did. That's awesome. Jalen says, Devin Hester, greatest return man ever, but still not good enough to... That is bullshit. That is bullshit. So Devin Hester is the greatest returner of all time, and him not being in the Hall of Fame makes no fucking sense to me at all. So what's the deal, people? I know they want to classify him as a wide receiver. Well, no. Okay? No. He's a returner. Put him in as a returner. That's it. Ken's going for the Lions. Elvacurry says, I know about Asa. Yeah, Ace, and the Super Bowl MVP is like a Purple Heart or other military awards. Yeah. It's like, it makes it extra special for when you win, yeah. So, Yeager Tharn says, I played too much Age of Empires and Total War. Oh, man. Total War. Love every one of them. Love those fucking games. I love Civilization, although Civilization 5 is my favorite. I still play Civilization 5. I don't like Civ 6. Hopefully Civ 7 will be better. Because Civilization 6, it's too cartoonish. It looks very goofy to me. Okay, so it's 3rd and 14. Detroit can get the ball back. They still have one timeout left. 1:50 on the clock. They made it. They made the stop. So it's 4th down. Dallas presumably is going to kick the field goal. Or they could just really have huge balls and go for it. Like that would, we'll find out. That would be interesting here. So, well, Mike McCarthy is hiding behind his menu talking as if he's got something in mind here. So you could draw them off. You'd get 4th and 1, and then you make a decision about are you willing to go for it on 4th and 1. That's it could work. It's risky, but it could work. I highly doubt Dak is going to snap this ball, though. I think that's what they're going to do. They're hoping to take it to 4th and 1 with a penalty. Let's see if Detroit fall for it. Nope, they're not falling for it. Detroit's not biting. Okay, field goal time. Civ 4 is really good too. Yeah. Gord King, I just saw that. Gord King says pumpkins have the number 1 seeds. Dude, I've never seen somebody have more analogies and puns and just... You can just go on about pumpkins. Like it's hilarious. Like I see you on X doing that stuff all the time. You know a lot about pumpkins. He's a punkin. See, there he goes. It's like, do you sit around just thinking of these? Do you write these down, or they just come to you as you're going there? So. Okay, guys, we'll make the picks here in a second. I just want to see the ending of Detroit and Dallas. Let's stay on this. It's almost over. Eddie! Eddie is here! Eddie! Eddie Visorno sends a $5 super chat. He says, playoff bound, let's go! Dog, check! So, Eddie, I'm guessing you just got here, but we've been talking a lot about your Browns. So I'll repeat my promise to you that if Cleveland Browns can either beat the Chiefs in the playoffs or go to the Super Bowl, I will be sporting Browns gear all next season. Okay, or something Browns related. I'm not going to wear Browns gear every time, but I'll always have something Browns themed next year all season, including going to the Super Bowl or after they, or even actually this season if they. So nice. I think you got the first there. So they can beat the Chiefs in first few rounds and not have to make the Super Bowl, and I'll still keep that promise. Or if they don't run into the Chiefs, but they still make the Super Bowl, same thing. So, oh yes, nice. What a throw by Goff to Laporta. Let's fucking go. Are we gonna get an overtime? I have seen Dan Bailey go for the win, though. We've seen it. He's done it. He's pulled it off before. Where you score a touchdown, then you go for a 2-point conversion. That's crazy, though. Like that pick earlier with Goff, like I said, that was just. I mean, it's still obviously, Goff could have always thrown it better, but that was a great play by Wilson, the defensive back on the Cowboys. My man, Amon-Ra St. Brown, let's go.
This is the man with the most badass name in sports. The Pharaoh, the Egyptian god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And on behalf of my man Von Allen, we want to thank you for your support. Let's fucking go. This is the man with the most badass name in sports. The Pharaoh, the Egyptian god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And on behalf of my man Von Allen, we want to thank you for your support. Let's fucking go.
There we go. Let's go, baby. Think you got in. Are they fucking going for it? They are. That's what I was just talking about a while ago. What's going on here? Call timeout. Okay, I was muted earlier. What I was saying, I was having a John Madden moment. I was saying that it's very difficult to score a touchdown here because Dallas knows you have to throw it, and they only covering 20 yards of 20-yard area there, so it's not that easy. But they just made it look easy. I don't know if I said this when I said this, but I'll repeat it. I had said that Dan Campbell has been known to go for 2 for a game winner. I don't know. I don't know if I'd do this or not. I like it. You know what? I like it because they've done it before. Fuck it. You know what? This is football, baby. Go for it. Let's fucking go! Let's go! Holy shit! Unbelievable! The fucking Lions! God, those fans, man. Those fans, ugh. What the fuck's going on? He didn't report? The play was fucking designed for you and you didn't report to the ref? You fucking moron? Oh, come on. What a dipshit. Oh, offsides. Free play. I don't think they need to press their luck here. I think they should go ahead and just kick it. This is all too chaotic. It's all too fucked up now. Yeah, I saw him jump before the flag even got thrown. You've got to report eligible. The play is for you. You knew that it was your play. You've got to say, hey, hello, ref. Everyone knows this. Everybody knows you've got to report. What a dumb shit. I would never give him a play ever again. Just kick it. I don't like this.
USDA did not report. Yeah, and Joe, pick which one you want. Number one, he's not covered by ineligible. So it's an ineligible down.
Bad coaching decision there. So first, you don't report in after you get it. Then second, you luck out with a offsides flag. That's too much chaos. It's too much. Too many things are going wrong. At that point, I mean, I respect the first decision, but at that point, just kick the field goal, reset, reevaluate. You know, go into overtime. Just you're playing well. That is 100% on the coach right there. No. After all that's a no. No. That little offsides was an omen there. That was a sign telling you just back off. Okay, you tried it, it didn't work, it went wrong. It's in everybody's heads now. So no. So just fucking kick the extra point. Fucking Lions, man. I swear. I was so happy. I was so happy for them. Dan Campbell, man, you got to go ahead. You have to kick the extra point. After all that chaos and after all that shit, you got to kick the extra point. You got to reset. You got to reset. Hopefully, Dan Campbell will let us know after the game if his guy reported or not. Yep, that's on the coach there, guys. That one's on the coach. You can't make a decision like that. You gotta regroup. You gotta reset. Oh well. Yeah, Ryan, that is the most Lions shit ever. I know.
Did not, and as you said, John Perry was uncovered anyway. Yeah, it's 3 fouls, all 5 yards. They throw the flag at the end of the play.
All right. All the excitement's over.
The Cowboys get the win by.
Congrats to the Cowboys, though. In the end, they got it done. I mean, you know, but we should be watching a pretty good overtime right now. Unfortunately, we don't get to. Thanks to Dan Campbell. Fucking idiot. All right. All right. Man, we should have a good overtime right now. That momentum that Detroit had going in, that's you should have let that ride there. So, all right, too bad. Okay, you guys ready? Make your picks. Actually, just a second. Just need to pull up something here. Okay. All right, guys. First up, we have Tyree Vaughn versus James Grant. Your stat is Martin Luther King Jr., so that is TDR, touchdown turnover ratio. Tyree is going with my homeboy. Okay, James Grant. James is not here, I don't think. So James rolls a 9. No. I'm unclear about Stroud again. We're not going to go there. 11. That gives him Tua. Okay, James Johnson versus Jalen. Your stat is heads, TDR. I don't think James is here. No, he's not. Okay, so Jalen, you get to pick first. On deck is Elf of Courage versus Justin. And your stat is yards, guys. And remember, yards include sack yardage negative. So. Okay, Jalen. We'll wait for yours. It's TDR. Man, all that excitement ruined. I was so happy for the Lions. I was all set to go on X and just start talking shit after the show. That's really unfortunate, man. Touchdown to turnover. That includes fumbles lost. Okay. Elf of Courage, if you want to go ahead and give me yours. And then Justin, be thinking about yours as well. And on deck is Moogie versus Nightly Sinister. I don't think, well, neither one of them are here. But their stat is yards. Elf, you are yards. Moogie Rose at 12. That is Baker Mayfield. Oh, Mom. Damn it. Okay. Nightly Sinister rolls a 6. That is Mahomes. Uh-oh. My mom's in trouble. All right. Okay. Jalen goes with Matt Stafford. And I'm going to roll for James Johnson. Brock Purdy. Okay. Elf of Courage, Stroud. Now, is he going to play this time? All right. Now, if Stroud doesn't play, his backup is Tua. Just to let you know. Okay. Hurts. Jalen Hurts. Okay. I'm changing it. Okay. Justin, who you got? Did we lose Justin? Okay, I guess Justin's gone. I'm going to roll for him. Justin rolls a 5. That's Brock Purdy. Okay, that takes us to the other side. Okay, that gives us Ryan Dyer versus Elf of Courage. Is Ryan here? Yeah, Ryan's here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get the stat. I just wanted to see if you're here first. Yards. Ryan and Elf, your stats are yards. That's strange. It looks like... Did I not enter Prescott? Holy crap, I didn't. Wait, that don't make sense. Then this is not the correct... All right, just a second, guys. Kind of a problem. Okay, well that's weird. The updated version of that file is missing. Okay. So I'm going to have to... I'm so sorry, guys. Give me just a second. Going to have to pull up Prescott again from last week. Okay, so he had 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 1 fumble lost, so 2-1 ratio. All right. Weird. When you use iCloud, sometimes if you save a new file, then it overwrites, re-downloads the old one. So that's what happened there. Apologies, guys. All right. So Elba Courage and Ryan Dyer, did I get your quarterbacks? Hurts. Okay. Okay, Elba Courage, Stroud. Okay, next we got Blind Assassin versus Bitcoin Motorist. Your stat is TDR. Blind Assassin, you're first. On deck is Chris Queeley versus Milena. And their stat is yards. I don't think either one is here. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for Chris. Chris rolls a 1. That's Hurts. And like usual, Milena's going to go with Tua. All right. Blind Assassin goes Hurts. Okay, Bitcoin, are you here? Is Bitcoin here? Doesn't look like it, so I'm going to roll for him. Yep, sideways. 11. Who's 11? Tua. Okay. And that leaves that's Nightwalker next versus Tyree Vaughn. Your stat is TDR. Nightwalker's not here. So Tyree, you go first, and then Hurts. Yeah, well, I mean, he's playing against the Cardinals, so it makes sense. Nightwalker. I'm going to roll for Nightwalker. Nightwalker rolls a 4. That's Lamar Jackson. And that's it. So we'll go back over these real quick. So Nightwalker versus Tyree Vaughn. Milana versus Chris Queeley. Blind Assassin versus Bitcoin Motorist, TDR. Ryan Dyer versus Alpha Courage. Tyree Vaughn versus James Grant. James Johnson versus Jalen, TDR. Alpha Courage versus Justin, yards. My Mom versus Nightly Sinister, yards. Good luck, you guys. Okay, so what's going on with the what's up with the situation in the Lions game? Okay, so Ace said the lineman before the play literally walked up to the ref. The ref might not have heard him. So Ace says, okay, so Von Allen, the play the lineman needed to report to the ref. The lineman walked up to the ref, and obviously if he walked up to him, he needed to report to him. Obviously he reported. Why would the lineman walk up to the play and he needed to report and not report? Right. So, okay, well, yeah, that it makes sense. It makes sense. Why did he, if he walked up to the ref, why would you do that? Obviously, you're telling him. Dallas needed this win. Detroit didn't. I mean, as far as the, but a little bit of home cooking there in Dallas. Who knows? By the way, that head ref, he's a veteran. He's been around a long time. I would love to hear them mic'd up from that they're not going to let us. It's like the government never going to reveal any evidence of their own people committing crimes, so they're not going to let us have a piece of that. But Alva Courage says Dallas needed a win on Jimmy Johnson night. Yeah, the line Ace said that Dan Campbell just said that 70 did report. Okay, well, then that means the game was stolen. So, and here we go. If that's the case, if that's the deal. I don't know anymore, man. I mean, I don't know. That's literally a stolen victory right there. That if that's the case, that is a stolen victory. I mean, 2 players reported? But that's not what the ref said on the internet when he announced. He just said that he didn't report. Okay, very confusing. We'll have to wait until that gets sorted out. So, I mean, it's not going to matter, I guess, but damn, that was such a great drive by Goff. But even with that, guys, even with that, the decision to go for it after the third try, was idiotic. Okay, you've got to just take that as a lot of shit chaos going on, a lot of weird things happening. Just take the extra point and move on. That decision is on the coach. As far as I'm that play never should have been done. You're pushing your luck there. You're getting a bit greedy. You're getting a bit cute. Okay, the first time it's ballsy and interesting, but then you have a offsides on the next play, and then on third, just fucking kick the ball and go into overtime. Take the momentum that Goff had with his team, especially with the new overtime rules. It's not as risky to go into overtime. It's not near as bad. So that was that part is on the coach. So as far as the after the fact, I'm not talking about that play, but I'm talking about the third attempt. That's on Campbell there. So. Okay, dokey. Just gonna make the picks real quick, and then we'll be done here. So, the 49ers at Washington. 49ers are going to absolutely annihilate them. Buffalo versus the Patriots. Oh, this is hilarious. We're gonna get crushed. Philadelphia versus Arizona. Philly's gonna crush them, obviously. Cleveland and Jets already happened. Kansas City versus the Bengals. I've got the Chiefs on this one. If Joe Burrow was there, I'd say no. I'd say Bengals. Rams at Giants. I'm going Rams here. Dallas versus Detroit just happened. Seattle versus Pittsburgh. The Steelers traveling to Seattle? No, thanks. I'll take the Seahawks. Indianapolis versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm taking Raiders, actually, here. Jacksonville versus Carolina. I'm going Carolina here. All right. Houston versus Tennessee. Houston. Baltimore versus Miami. I'm going with Miami. Denver versus LA Chargers. Well, they're benching Russell Wilson, starting Jarrett Stidham. It's not going to make much of a difference. Denver probably will still get the victory. Chicago versus Atlanta. I'm going Chicago. Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. New Orleans. Minnesota versus Green Bay. Green Bay. Okay, there you go. All right, guys, and like I said before at the beginning of the show, I just want to let you know again that the shows from the rest of the year are going to be on Thursday nights. That gives me, ability to chime in on Friday and Saturday and to adjust now that we're going into the playoffs, because week 17 and week 18 are essentially playoff weeks. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, and then. Pretty soon, I'm going to start, and I don't know if it's going to be this week or a few weeks after, but I'm going to do either Tuesday or Wednesday night show where I play chess online. But while I'm playing chess, we'll talk. We can talk football in the chat. Whatever you guys want to talk, we can talk and just shoot the shit or whatever. It's just something for fun that I like to do. And I just thought I play chess on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. So if I'm doing that, I might as well also stream it, bring in some chess fans that maybe like football. Also, it's a good prelude and an intro to my documentary that I'm doing with a former world champion chess player, where we talk about the connection between chess and football, and how football, my theory is that, my idea is that football is human chess. So it's a good kind of introduction and crossover, and it gives us a chance to shoot the shit, talk about the games from Sunday and, Monday and all that stuff that we didn't get to do before. Okay. So think about doing that. I wanted to do that. So, we got that coming up too. So I'm excited. I hope all of you guys have a happy New Year. Have fun. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. I don't want anything happening to you guys. So, but have a good New Year. And remember, New Year's resolutions. Everybody makes a New Year's resolution. They're not really something that people ever follow, or it's just wishful thinking. Instead, try something different this year. Use the New Year's as a reflection time. Look at yourself from 2023 and go, am I better now than I was? Evaluate yourself. Do an evaluation, and then look at the things that you can improve upon. That's what I do every New Year's. I don't say, oh, I'm gonna, stop eating this or lose weight, or I'm gonna go work out, or I'm gonna stop smoking, or whatever it is that people do that never pan out. Instead, just look at yourself, evaluate yourself, and then go from there. I think just try it. See how it works. I think you'll like it. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you, and we'll talk soon. Bye.